All right. Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well. This is Rudy. Hey, I just watched this DVD here, Dreams from My Real Father. Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert. And I wanted to capture my reaction to it and just collect my thoughts and share with you guys what my reaction is after watching it. Now, the video makes the case that Stanley Dunham, who is Barack Obama's white grandfather, was an undercover CIA guy, and he's going around infiltrating and keeping tabs upon the Communist Party in the USA. And he's joining communist churches, and that was his deal. And his furniture sales was just a cover, but he's going around, and his job is to keep tabs upon the communists within the United States. And that he went to Hawaii, Stanley Dunham, the white grandfather, with his daughter, Stanley Ann Dunham, and that Stanley Ann Dunham, his white daughter, got mixed up with Frank Marshall Davis, who was the island's biggest communist. Frank Marshall Davis was not only a communist, but he was a pervert, bisexual, reprobate, sodomite reprobate. But the case that I saw, and I tried to take a few notes, says that Frank Marshall Davis was taking nude pictures and sending of all these Hawaiian girls and sending them off to these magazines, and that some of the pictures, and I don't know if they've conclusively tied these naked girls, because there's a set of pictures that do look like Stanley Ann Dunham. The long chin, the upturned nose, the earlobes, the arched eyebrows. It does look like her. Now, whether it's her or not, I don't know for sure, but it does look like her. It's a compelling case. And if it can be conclusively proven that Frank Marshall Davis was taking those nude pictures of Stanley Ann Dunham, there's two things. First of all, you got to prove that Frank Marshall Davis has taken the pictures, and the second thing you got to prove is that's really Stanley Ann Dunham. It does look like her. And they tried to make that connection. And if he's taking nude pictures of her, he's probably screwing her. Okay, let's just talk bluntly, okay? And I think at the time the pictures were taken, it was about the time that Obama would have been conceived. So all the pieces seem to have been in the right place at the right time. The video tries to make a connection between the fact that Frank Marshall Davis likes jazz records, and some of the photos of Stanley Ann Dunham, some of the nudie photos, had jazz records in them. There's a picture of a couch that Frank Marshall Davis was, it's got a picture of him and his couch, and it says it's the same couch that she was, showing her bohiny off to everybody. But I don't know that it's the same couch. I mean, that's kind of weak. It's not really conclusive. She has recent tan lines, so that means that whoever the girl was in the photo was near a beach, or at least tanned a lot, maybe tanned in the backyard. But they're saying that's consistent with Hawaii, that if she tanned on the beach in Hawaii. It makes the case that she had Chicago-style shoes, because Frank Marshall Davis was married, right? And his wife, I guess, was from Chicago, so he thinks that the lady the nudie girl in that picture was wearing Chicago-style shoes, and that was really Frank Marshall Davis's wife's shoes. Well, that's very weak. It's very weak to me. I'm not a shoe expert. Supposedly, Frank Marshall Davis wrote a book or wrote something to do with something called Sex Rebel Black, which is a perverted, reprobate book about sexual escapades. And Frank Marshall Davis wrote about Anne in the book. And supposedly he's memorializing his time screwing Anne when she was very, very young, under 20 years old. Now, also, I guess in some of Barack Obama's writings, he's wrote about Frank Marshall Davis. At least that's my understanding. And that he used his real name. So we know that they knew each other, I guess. And the documentary also makes the case that the birth certificate said father unknown. One thing I really didn't like about the documentary is it slaps in the face the birthers saying they were on a fool's errand. It's not a fool's errand to go after the truth. So Joel Gilbert, even though I respect him pursuing the truth. He could have given a whole lot more courtesy to the birthers who's going after the truth rather than wording it in the way that he did, right? So Joel Gilbert doesn't give the respect to the birthers that they deserve by saying they're on a fool's errand. So, but hey, we've been called much worse, and if that's the way he wanted to put it, he's got a right to put it that way, but I got a right to say I don't like it, But it's not a fool's errand to go after the truth. And if the birth certificate is a forgery, then it's absolutely the right thing to do. And you can't say that somebody's stupid for saying that Barack is born in Kenya when his own literary bio agent, when his own literary bio for 16 years said he was born in Kenya, and when Odingo said he was born in Kenya, and when Sarah Obama, his black grandmother, said he was born in Kenya, and Michelle's calling it his home country. So don't go around telling me that, birthers are on a fool's errand, Joel Gilbert. Joel Gilbert, you can kiss my ass, except I do respect the DVD you put together. I think that it gives us a lot to think about, but I wish you could have worded it in such a way that, the birthers are pursuing the truth just like you are. But anyway, let's move on. It says that Obama's had a nose job, and that was to, get him from looking like his father so much, his real father, which is supposedly Frank Marshall Davis. And then you have to make a decision whether the nudie girl in that nudie photo is really Stanley Ann Dunham, and then you have to make a decision, how do we know for sure that Frank Marshall Davis took those pictures? And then also it makes the case that as Barack Obama's getting older, he's getting these age spots, these dots that some people get when they get older, and Frank Marshall Davis had those age spots, and the Kenyan goat herder, Barack Obama Sr., did not have them. So do we think that, anyway, here's the deal. If this video is true, and if you're a true American and you're a capitalist and you understand the evils of communism, you'll understand we're still in trouble. Even if this video is true, this is big time deception. This is only Satan could pull off this type of deception. Okay? And if it's not true, well, we're still back to either way, we have a non-natural born citizen. Why do I say that? Even if his father is Frank Marshall Davis, which supposedly was an American, when he went to Kenya, he gave up his citizenship. You have to maintain your natural born citizen. You can't have dual loyalties. You can't be loyal to another country. Okay? And not only that, but he put out a forged birth certificate. The main thing the birthers have been saying all along is that birth certificate is a forgery, and it is a forgery. Even this DVD says, yeah, that's a forgery. They claim that they did it because the birth certificate said father unknown, right? And that they wanted to put in Barack Obama Sr., and they tell the reason why Barack Obama Sr. claimed credit for Obama, right? Because basically Stanley Dunham was working for the CIA, and he would have lost his job if the #1 communist in Hawaii was his son-in-law. You know what I mean? So Stanley Dunham had to go find another fall guy for the illegitimate black baby, and he found Barack Obama Sr., which was actually under his supervision. But look, whether the video is true or whether it's not, we are in deep trouble, and we have a usurper, and we have someone who wants to destroy America in the White House. You need to understand how serious this is. Let me also say this for you guys that may be thinking that Barack Obama is hiding under his desk and that he's like cowering, thinking we're going to find him out, and Barack Obama's not worried about this movie. Let me share something with you, and this is my opinion. You can take it or leave it. Barack Obama loves this DVD. See, when we see it through our capitalist eyes and through our American patriotic eyes, we see an enemy. Barack Obama wants this story to get out. It's like a thief that's just pulled off the biggest bank robbery in the history of the world. He wants people to know. He's full of pride. See, he's a communist. He hates America. America has been pure hell to him and his wife. Michelle Obama don't like America either, from all the speeches she's given. It's the first time in my adult life I've ever been proud of my country. Okay, these people hate America. They always have. They always have since they've been born. Now, when Barack Obama sees this, he wells up with pride. He's like, let's just play the what if game, okay? Now, I'm not saying the video's true. I think there's a lot of weak associations. There's a possibility. I'm not saying it's impossible. But let's just pretend for a second that it is true, and let's pretend we're Barack Obama, and let's pretend the video's true. Okay? Barack Obama is a communist at heart. Man, he ain't no capitalist. He ain't no work or don't eat kind of guy. Barack Obama wants to spread the wealth. Barack Obama wants to take from the rich and give to the poor. Barack Obama doesn't even know what produces wealth, right? He wants to give to all the poor people, just like Hugo Chavez, Fidel Castro, that Che Guevara guy. You never seen the Che Guevara picture? Go Google the image of Che Guevara, right? That's what Barack Obama wants to be. He wants to be the popular guy for the communists. And he pulled it off. And he's like, man, I was a red diaper baby. I was born of a communist, Frank Marshall Davis, and I rose all the way to the top of the United States, and I'm pushing the United States into communism. And not only that, I'm making them accept homosexuality as a standard, normal thing, and I've got their Pentagon to declare Happy Gayness Month. Not just Happy Gayness Day, not just one day of happy homosexuality. I got him to declare Happy Gayness Month in the Pentagon, right? And he's pushing our whole country to communist, and he wants credit for that. He doesn't want you. He's not hiding from this movie. First of all, nobody's going to be able to prove it unless you get a DNA test. But for the communists, this is their new propaganda tool. Barack Obama is like the new Che Guevara. He's the new Fidel Castro. He's the new Hugo Chavez. He did it. He's the man. He got to be president of the United States of America, and he's driving us into communism. And John McCain didn't do a thing when Barack Obama said that his father was a Kenyan-born goat herder. John McCain didn't do a thing. Mitt Romney not saying a thing. Crybaby Boner didn't say a thing. All the Republican leaders, all these so-called the white establishment, let him march right in, didn't say a thing. Just folded. John McCain folded. Crybaby Boner folded. Mitt Romney folded. Ron Paul folded. None of them called him out on this. And he just marched right in as a black man, and nobody said a thing. Nobody called him out. Nobody challenged him. And he took over the president of the United States. Even George Bush didn't say a thing. And I'm not a fan of George Bush. Didn't say a thing. Just handed power right over to him. This is the propaganda piece for the Communist Party. They're going to love this. We had a red diaper baby grow up, manipulate his way through Harvard Law School, manipulate his way through everything he's ever done in his life, have somebody else write his books for him, and he got to be president, and he took down American capitalism without firing a shot, and he did it from within. And Obama wants that story to get out. When Obama sees this, if it's true, he's full of pride, man. He's like, I did it, guys. I got to the top, and I overturned America, and I'm pushing them communists, and they didn't say a thing. What pussies Americans are. Man, that's what Obama's saying right now. And see, the funny thing about it, Bill O'Reilly, Rush Limbaugh, okay, Ron Paul, Sean Hannity, okay, Sodomite, Anderson Cooper. They've all invested too much money into his story that he's told. Even if this were true, they can't go back and say it's true now. You know how much they would lose face? You know how much they would have to retract? They're going to fight to keep Obama not to fall from this. You know what I mean? They're going to fight against you and I to pursue the truth, because if the truth ever comes out, they will lose their credibility faster than you can snap your fingers. They will lose face. They will lose. See, they ain't got no shame. If you and I did something wrong, we would apologize. We would say, well, maybe I was off a little bit and that part was wrong. You know, and hey guys, I was bamboozled. You know, I'm sorry. I repent for my sin. But you think Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, a freaking Mormon, Mitt Romney, you think they're going to repent and say, hey, we were wrong about Obama all this time when you guys were saying all this stuff that he's covering up his birth certificate, he's covering up his nativity story. You think they're going to say they're sorry now? See, we got a freaking full-fledged enemy of the United States as commander-in-chief, got our nuclear codes, and he looks like he's going to win the freaking election. He's going to win the election. And nobody will say anything because they're going to lose face. And they're going to lose some of that money they got out of it. They've been selling umbrellas in a rainstorm. They've been making a lot of money. You and I hadn't been making any money. They're going to decimate the middle class. The middle class in America, you're gone, baby. You're gone. You're history. Only God and Sheriff Arpaio can save us now. That's what I got to say about this DVD. God bless every one of you.